What's the ambition? Do you want to build the company up and sell it, or do you want to compete?
I My ambition is to grow it into the largest auction house in the country, and I think we can achieve that probably within the next 18 to 24 months.
Well,
Um, that's the plan. Whether we get there or not, but I'm pretty confident we will.
who's your main competitor? Or do you not want to give a shout out?
It's not so much that I don't feel we've created something that's quite unique. So what really appealed, just going back actually to the start of the conversation when Nick first rang me, said, I've got this idea, come and have a chat. What massively appealed to me was the niche and the specific nature of the auctioneers. So what we discussed earlier, the barriers to entering auction, as in to run your own auction house, were stripped away when everything went online, because suddenly the cost base of holding auctions, etc., had come down dramatically. So what you found over the last 5 to 8 years, really, every week there's a new auctioneer opening up. I think I'd say
Most of them don't
99% of them last 6 months before they shut down, because it's such a niche and nuanced world, the auction world. But and also when you pop up a new auctioneer pops up that's just an auctioneer, what differentiates them from the big boys? Nothing. You know, they offer the same thing, but without the coverage and without the spread and without the branding and everything else that the big boys have. So this idea, having a specific type of property that you're selling at the auction, really, I thought, yeah, people will sit up and take notice of that. And it's been true. The amount of phone calls I've had from a lot of these old faces and old people calling and going, what a brilliant idea, just to focus on a certain type of property. And weirdly enough, actually, this week another new auctioneer has popped up, and they've obviously maybe taken a bit of inspiration from us, because they've got a focus as well on a certain type of property.
Okay.
There's actually a type of an HMO auctioneer, purely to sell HMO style properties.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, not a bad idea at all. You know, it may be that's the way that the auction world evolves into, having specific auctioneers who sell specific types.
I
It
got
could
approached from
be-
someone that wants to do a land auction.
Yeah, you know,
I think one of the things that was really important to me, and this was trying to do things the right way. Having been a client of a couple of, well, a few auction houses over the years, and two main auction houses that we've been with for a long time through my other business, I didn't want to come into the auction world and step on anybody's toes. Got good relationships. Those people were friends and whatever else, and therefore it had to be niche in order to essentially win business that they weren't winning. And that was sort of fundamental. And when we sort of went down the process of kind of before, it was actually slightly before and also during sort of working with Russell, I went to see the other auction houses that I work with, and I gave them an opportunity to join me in the business to see if they wanted to do it with us. And one wanted to, but couldn't. They're part of a franchise, and the franchisor wouldn't give them the green light. The other one was Savills, and I felt like I should do the right thing by them, and ultimately go and see them and see whether they want to do something with us. And they kind of did. They tried to steer it towards us creating a sort of feeder business that sort of fed into them. And I didn't see any sort of long-term picture with that, and whether the route is to go towards an exit of this business eventually. A feeder business isn't going to be exitable, whereas an auction business with recurring income is likely to be. And actually, that's probably the one thing with Savills, independently, or the actual people that work there, I get on very well with a lot of them, but they started to call some of our clients. They were downloading our legal packs. They were trying to. I think they thought that we would sort of trickle into the market, and we hit with a pretty big impact. We kind of went out. We went hard and fast. We sponsored every probate event and charity sector event in over the last 12 months as kind of head sponsor. We kind of made everybody know that we were here. We were there to support them. We've been out to see hundreds of people. We've taken whole teams of solicitor firms and sort of done sort of pitches with them and kind of explain the process. Yeah, it became that's what I said before. It became an educational piece. We realised very quickly that we had to educate the legal sector mainly and the charity sector to understand auctions, understand the power of auctions, what does well at auction, why they should sell at auction, why they're still fluffing their lines essentially when they put a really run down property and they place it in with the local agent, and either that property is being sold super quickly or it's been overpriced because the agent's kind of overvalued it, been whittled down over time, and then 9 months, 12 months later they've still not sold it. And so giving them the opportunity of auctions is an outlet for them, and an outlet they hadn't really considered. And so my sort of goal for this business is, it may not be the largest auction house. I mean, that'd be very nice, but as long as we're the best, and it could be, you know, half the size of the largest, but if we're providing the best service, and I'm really really hard on this,
yeah.
that I want to make sure that everybody that we deal with appreciates what we're putting in for them, whether they're buyer or seller, that we're going the extra mile for them.